FBU National Championship Tournament, the single largest event in youth football going down on the Paradise Coast. 6th graders, we've broken down your bracket. 7th grade, we've interviewed your coaches. 8th graders, you're on the clock. Championship week. It's the most wonderful time of the year. I'm Chad Ricardo. We have some big-time matchups going down in the 8th grade quarterfinals, perhaps none bigger than Seattle versus Dade. Travis Thomas of Dade is on deck. Rob Mason joins me now. Let's get right into it. Coach, again, thank you for joining me for what, the 3rd time already this week? If you weren't already, my friend, you would be now.
Thanks, Chad. I really appreciate you, my friend.
Rob, we've touched on your 6th graders. We've touched on your 7th grade team as well. Many are calling your 8th graders, though, the early on favorites. Your thoughts?
You know, I get goosebumps when I get ready to talk about this team, and it really stems from, the head coach, Michael Westbrook, being and leading this team going into his 3rd year. He assembled this team back in 6th grade, and, I would have to say the strength of this team is twofold. There's a core unit that has remained on this team, and, that's a byproduct of Mike and his staff doing an outstanding job, keeping the core unit and picking up additional talent, along the way year over year. So the chemistry of this team, I think, is something that is going to be tough for somebody to prepare for, because you can't prepare for your brothers locking arms and battling with each other. The other strength of this team, and you're going to see when this team shows up, is the line on both sides of the ball. I kid you not, when you see the size and athleticism of these guys, we joke, but we're serious here in Washington, that this team literally can go out and beat some of our junior varsity high school teams out in the state of Washington. So, I got to tell you, with the cast that's behind those linemen, there's too many guys to list, from the wide receivers to the backfield to, a quarterback that we think is going to be ranked top in the nation, with years to come. Watch out for, Team Seattle 8th grade.
Let's take a trip down memory lane, if you will. A year ago, down in Naples, semifinal matchup, Seattle versus Dade. It was an epic battle. We played well into the night. What are your thoughts of last year's matchup?
So Dade County, and if I recall, last year we went into double overtime, and it came down to them stopping us on the goal line, us stopping them, late into the night. I think we're pushing midnight by the time we got back to the hotel, and that was just an all-out, good old-fashioned backyard brawl. Much respect to Dade County and the talent that they have down there, and they definitely showed that size doesn't matter at all. So that's what I remember when I think about Dade County, because it sticks, it just sticks in my mind. This year, we wouldn't have it any other way, as Coach Westbrook would say. We know that Dade County, I'm here in Broward County, might have been, a combination there, that they're coming with athletes, they're coming with depth, they're coming with athleticism, and to be able to see them in the quarterfinals, to me, is setting the stage for a national championship type of atmosphere. So with that being said, we want those guys right out of the gate, because we take care of business there. We feel like, they've set the precedent. It should be smooth sailing into the national championship game.
Double OT thriller. I tell you, the drama of that game lives on. Travis Thomas, I'm going to ask him about it as well. You all came up short in that matchup. They beat you in that double OT thriller. What do you all have to do this year to turn the tables and have Seattle come out victorious?
You know what? We just have to finish. Like I mentioned with the 7th grade earlier when you and I spoke, we just got to finish the job. That's it. Double overtime, with 1 yard to go. At the end of the day, that's just, grit and grind. We should have been able to finish. With this group here having so many weapons within our Team Seattle 8th, there's no question that if we get put in that position again, that we're going to finish. So I have all the confidence in the world in our head coach, the staff, the athletes, and this team. And this is their last year. So they're playing with a chip on their shoulder and something special to go out with a bang.
That is what's up, brother. I tell you what, I look forward to all of the FBU National Championship games, but this one I circled in red ink right away. Coach, I see you down there on the Paradise Coast.
Hey, thanks for everything, Chad. Thank you to FBU. Hey, go Team Seattle.
Epic matchup on deck. All right, that's one side of the coin. Coach Thomas. Coach, you are the man that I've been waiting to speak to for a couple of different reasons. You just heard Rob Mason. We'll get to Seattle in just a minute. I want to start back in your regionals, though. Your 8th graders knocked off a Southwest Florida team in your regional final. That Southwest Florida team had knocked off Tampa previously, though. What did you see out of your young men in that game?
I saw a lot of grit. I saw a lot of grit and determination. Because that Southwest Florida team was really, really talented. We watched them the previous day against Tampa, and honestly, I'm not going to lie, we were looking forward to Tampa since last year when Tampa pulled the upset on our 7th grade team. And then when we saw Southwest Florida out there, we saw those athletes and we saw the speed they were moving at. It was like, holy smokes, we got our hands full. So when we came out, we just tried to put physicality on them because they had some tremendous running backs, and our goal was to not let them get started. So on every play, we made sure to keep hats on the ball.
Coach, speaking of Tampa, last year, of course, that program won 2 FBU National Championships. They were absolutely dominant at both 6th and 7th grade. Looking at social media, many around the nation were calling them the new kings of Florida.
Well, first and foremost, I'd like to start off by saying I have a tremendous amount of respect for the Tampa program. They're under great leadership. They have great athletes. We're well coached. So they actually gave us something. They helped us refocus because in South Florida, we like to consider ourselves to be the king of the hill. And they go through a whole year of seeing Tampa to the top of the food chain with those 2 national championships. Yeah, it really motivated us. And I think we needed that. It was a wake-up call to us to let us know that, yeah, just because we're from South Florida, Dade County, that doesn't mean teams are just going to lay down for us. So I want to thank them for the motivation they gave us heading into this season and this tournament.
Speaking of motivation, your next opponent is Seattle. As I talked about with Rob Mason, last year's game, double overtime thriller, instant classic. What do you remember from that game? What can your team take from it?
Well, last year Seattle's team was huge. They were very physical. And to be honest, they took a tremendous toll on our team. I mean, we won that. I wouldn't even say that we won it as much as we survived that contest. Because we were like pretty much the walking dead going to the championship game after that Seattle game. But I'm going to say this, coming into this year, I think we have the trenches to match them, and we have some brutes up front, and they're going to get after it. So Seattle, I know that you guys are very big, very physical, and everybody's been touting you guys as early favorites. And I'm going to tip my hat to you. I'm going to give a lot of respect to your program. But just know that you're coming down here, and yes, we have that traditional South Florida speed, but we also have the big uglies up front who want to get out there and bring it to you.
Coach, I'll get you out of here on this. Last year's 8th grade squad came up just short. They fell to GFL in the championship game. What does this year's team need to do to get over that hump and ultimately bring the championship back to Dade?
Well, O-line, D-line, and this is a championship coaching staff. They won it in 6th grade, and we really feel like we let it slip away last year to the eventual national champs, Tampa. So they're going to come out with a lot of resolve, and we've learned from previous tournaments, and we're just going to come in. We're going to stay focused, one game at a time. We're not going to overlook anyone, and I'm kind of glad that we get Seattle out of the gate. So we've heard a lot about them, and so that means the focus is going to be laser sharp in practice this week leading up to the game, and there's no distractions. We're coming. We're determined to get out of there and raise that trophy.
That is, listen, when I spoke to Rob Mason a few minutes ago, I told him that I look forward to every game in the national championship, but this one, I circled it in red ink, brother. I can't wait to see it.
Oh, we can't wait to play it.
Coach, I will see you and your entire fan support group down in Naples, brother.
Thank you. Can't wait to meet you guys again.
That is going to be one hell of a matchup. Look, it takes a lot to unseat the defending champs. Takes a lot for GFL not to lead the show, but Seattle Dade, make sure you get a seat for all of these games. That one in particular. GFL defending champs, Ken Burge, 3-time champion, he's with me now. Coach, I want to start by talking about your regional matchup with GMSAA. That was an up-and-coming program. You all made relative light work of them in your regional final.
Our GMSAA game was one I've been really looking forward to. We're right here next to each other, and last year I had a couple of kids that wanted to come over that went to school in their district that wanted to come play for me, and they wouldn't let them come play, and felt like those kids got costed. They lost out on the chance to win a national championship because they didn't come play for us. It's been the first time we played them in a while, too. They hadn't they've gotten beat before they got to us. So it's been the first time we've got to play them probably in about 5 years, so I was looking forward to it.
And as you alluded to, I mean, that team is essentially your next door neighbor. And look, in 7th grade last year, that team made a run. For you, was this personal for you to not only beat them, but to beat them in the fashion in which you did?
Oh, yeah, it definitely was. And some of the kids that I had this year were on that team last year. You know, they said, well, we fumbled the ball. I think they passed them, turned it over about 6 times last year and still had a chance to win the game. So our kids knew if we played error-free, we would be okay. 6th and 7th grade to me, these coach, you know, and now Chris is doing it this year with the 7th grade, but they really try to. I've always found that they stick with kids that have played the regular season for them, and I found out the first year we did this. After that first year, you got to get out there and get kids. You got to get some guys to play. And last year, Pat had a lot of players, but he didn't have some of the kids that we picked up this year.
And your next matchup has familiarity as well. You've got Kentucky. What are your thoughts on this game?
Well, we played them last year, I think, in the 2nd round. They're always big. They're always physical. You know, you just got to be prepared. We tell our linemen every year, you better be ready to block some big kids and tackle some big kids. And I understand this year they've got some athletes that you put those with those big kids, those big linemen. It's going to be a tough challenge for us. You know, we'll be ready. Our main concern now is just getting everybody to Naples. We've got a couple of kids, 4 or 5 of our kids that are playing in another tournament this week. Just hope they stay healthy in it and ready to play for us next Monday night, I hope.
I'm going to get you out of here on this, Coach. You won the chip last year. Like I alluded to, I believe it was your 3rd, might have been your 4th or 5th FBU National Championship crown. This year's team, though, you lost Chad Masco, you lost Denylon Morissette, you lost Daniel Martin. Does this squad have what it takes to repeat as 8th grade FBU National champs?
I think they do, because we're still pretty strong on defense, and that's what we usually try to hang our hat on. You know, we've got a couple of real good quarterbacks, you know, that are going to be able to do the thing. We're strong at receiver. We've got some great running backs, but we always try to hang our hat on defense. And our offensive coordinator, Gerald Mitchell, has always said, you know, that's what wins. Help keep them down, we'll score some points. So, and Steve Bussoletti does a great job getting those kids prepared. We've been sort of struggled this year getting everybody together to practice because of weather and kids playing in other tournaments. But hopefully we'll have a couple of good nights of practice this week and get them down there Monday morning and have a good morning of practice before we play Monday night.
That is right. Listen, the methodology is tried and true. Coach, thank you very much for speaking with me today, and I'll see you down in Naples.
See you, sir. Take care.
From one favorite to the next, Dallas. They got 3 teams headed down to the Paradise Coast, 6th, 7th, and 8th, and all of them are ready to compete for an FBU National Championship. Corey Hogg, team director. Coach, share with me your thoughts with your regional victory over a game San Antonio squad.
Man, it's a group of guys that very special. This is a very special group of guys. The coaching staff that we have on that 8th grade level, they've been in the FBU ranks for many, many years. Some of them hold 3 national championships from 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade. That's probably the most plus about it is this group of coaching staff that's together on that 8th grade level.
And coming up, you've got a matchup with the dynamic and organized Orange County team. What's it going to take for you all to look good against them?
Definitely going to have to be disciplined. Orange County, they beat us last year, as I recall. It's a very, very, like you said, very skilled, very fast paced team. Our defense, I believe they're pretty much up for the challenge. They've been doing pretty decent here.
And Coach, you speak about last year, and that's really where I want to go right now. Your 8th grade squad last year was hands down one of, if not the most naturally talented team that we had in the FBU National Championship Tournament. That didn't necessarily translate to victories on the field, though. What's going to have to change this year? What are you all going to do differently to make sure that that's not the case and that this team competes for what it deserves, an FBU National Championship?
Well, this year we have, like I said, a repeat of very good talent, but most importantly, the coaching staff. As long as the coaching staff kind of hone in, zero in on these guys, they've got the belief. They already know they're the best in the Metroplex. Now it's trying to prove it to the world if they have what it takes to be on a national scale. I have a good group of kids that was there last year at 7th grade FBU. I also have some repeat that started back in 6th grade that missed their 7th grade year. So they're not new to FBU, the speed and the talent that they're going to actually see. But it's just basically them coming together, believing in coaches, and they'll see the outcome from there.
When we spoke the other day, you referenced being, a bit of a betting man. If you were in Vegas right now, what odds would you put on your 8th grade team winning a national crown?
I mean, as a coach, I'm very, very confident in our abilities, but as a realist, I also know that there's other towns and other cities that have came together for the same goal that we have, and it's not easy. I've been in this FBU ranks for 6 years now. It's very hard to get, even to this point, especially out of our region. We have a higher chance that we've had in the last couple of years, put it like that.
You know what? I will take that, Coach. I will take that. I will take that right there. I tell you, that's the thing about FBU coaches, man. It's difficult to get bulletin board material out of you guys. Coach, thank you very much. I'll see you down on the Paradise Coast.
Absolutely. Have a good one.
Our last guest of the day, certainly no stranger, more like FBU family. Team Director, Massachusetts, PJ Vanderride. Coach, I want to get right to it here. I know that you spent a lot of time with this 8th grade bunch. You feel special about them. Give me your thoughts on this team.
Well, I'll tell you, it's Chad, this is, I think, one of the best 8th grade teams that I've coached. One of the best 8th grade teams I think we've had in the program, and we've had 3 teams in the 8th grade level that were taken down to the national championship, 2 down in San Antonio, and then 2 years I thought was one of the strongest and dynamic teams that we've had. I think this year we could definitely match any team that we brought down to the national championship.
We speak to the strength of this team as a whole in totality, and they certainly deserve that, but I know that you've got a few individuals that have stood out as well.
My skill guys we're loaded at skill across the board. 3 guys, Scotty Brown, 30-year player, quarterback. Preston Zenta, who plays defensive end and wideout. And K.O. Usanubi, who's he's really stepped it up last couple games, and he's another 30-year player. And matter of fact, he's up for our national award this year. And All three of them were nominated. KO's going to be the finalist from our team. And, you know, I can name 20 kids that I can name every single kid. It's sort of a team effort. And we're blessed to have the team we have this year.
Shout out to my guy Scotty Brown. Definitely look forward to seeing him down on the Paradise Coast. One of my all-time faves. Okay, let's get back to business here, PJ, because your next matchup is one of epic proportions. You've got a Maryland Metro squad, and P, I don't know whether you've seen them in person, but let me tell you about them. They've got a dynamic offense. They've got receivers all across the board. They've got a big-time running back. They've got a massive offensive line, and PJ, they have arguably, Scotty Brown would have a lot to say about this, but they have arguably the top youth quarterback in the entire nation in Mr. Noah Brannick. What are your thoughts on this matchup? How do you get by him?
Well, I'll tell you, I think it's going to be a defensive battle. I think, from what I understand, as you mentioned, they got a great quarterback, as we do. They're loaded in the wide receiver position, as we are. They have some big boys, as we do, so I think it's going to be a great battle. I think, again, you know, it's the team that's the most disciplined is going to come out the winner in this one. And, you know, we've been practicing in the cold and getting these guys prepared to get out of Naples and battle. And I'll tell you, we are ready.
A lot of programs have tremendous fan support. I'm not sure if any of them support their teams more so than your Mass program, though. Of course, we give a ton of credit to the student athletes because they deserve it, but none of them make it to this level without the love and support of their families. PJ, what do you have to say to your entire Mass contingent that's going to be coming down and celebrating and supporting their student athletes on the Paradise Coast?
I'll tell you, we're very lucky. It must be something with the Boston fans because we watched the Patriots game yesterday down in Miami, and I was told that it was a third of the stadium was Pats fans, so we're trying to do the same thing in Naples. We're traveling in force. We have 3 teams, 107 players, and other than maybe 5 or 6 players, the parents couldn't make the trip. We're coming fully loaded with a whole caravan of parents. So we're blessed to have the parents, the support that we have for National League football and their boys. And we're hopefully going to get out there and make the parents proud of their sons and make it worth their while for a great trip.
That is all right. Coach, thank you very much, and I'll see you down in Naples.
All right, Chad, thank you. Can't wait.
That's going to do it for our 8th grade bracket breakdown. I want to thank each and every one of the coaches who stopped by to join me here today. For you watching at home, I cannot wait to see you down in Naples, Florida. On behalf of the entire FBU National Championship family, I'm Chad Ricardo. I'll see you soon. Happy birthday, Mom.